Hi, everybody, and thank you for joining us for Manhattan Neighborhood Network's Represent NYC. My name is Kenneth Ebie, and I am the Executive Director of Black Entrepreneurs NYC, an initiative of the New York City Department of Small Business Services. It's an honor to join you today as your host and to engage in a very important conversation with a remarkable leader in New York City's private sector who's helping to drive private sector efforts to support our city's Black entrepreneurs. Today, we're joined by Marcus Odedina, a global client service partner in the New York City office of Ernst & Young LLP, EY. Thank you, Marcus, for joining me today as we talk about the state of Black entrepreneurship in New York City. Before we do get going here, I just want to give our audience an overview of the BNYC initiative. The City of New York is committed to building a stronger and fairer city by creating opportunities for all, safeguarding the American dream, and addressing the racial wealth gap. In September 2019, the New York City Department of Small Business Services launched Black Entrepreneurs NYC, otherwise known as BNYC. It's a first of its kind initiative in any major American city to address the disparities facing Black entrepreneurs. BNYC aims to eradicate systemic barriers preventing success and to create equitable wealth and advancement for Black entrepreneurs and business owners across New York City. So one only needs to look at the harrowing statistics to really appreciate the needs of this community. During the pandemic, Black-owned businesses in New York City were twice as likely to be closed than their white counterparts. And in the federal PPP program, they only received about 12% of what they asked for. They're 3 times as likely to be denied financing than white-owned businesses. And on average, many Black-owned businesses are only running on 12 days of cash reserves. And that had some pretty significant results during the pandemic. But despite these stats, there is tremendous room for opportunity and tremendous optimism. We've seen a lot of growth. On average, 380 out of every 100,000 Black adults became new entrepreneurs during the 2020 pandemic, which is up from 240 in each of the prior 2 years. We also know, according to the New York Times, that Black-owned firms are growing 4 times faster than white-owned firms in New York City. And Black women are the fastest growing demographic of entrepreneurs in the United States, according to CNBC. So there's a clear disconnect in the ability and the resources. And that's part of what we're here to talk about today. So Marcus, I'm going to kick it off, and I just want to ask you if you can tell us a little bit about EY and your role as a partner at EY.
Primarily, good day, Ken, and thank you for having me. EY is a global leader in assurance, tax, strategy, transaction, and consulting services with teams in over 150 countries. Locally, we have more than 13,000 professionals across the greater New York City metro area. At EY, we see ourselves as playing a critical role in building a better working world for our people, our clients, and our communities. My personal role in building a better working world involves providing the appropriate level of ownership and oversight across all services provided to the city and the state of New York and all its related jurisdictions. In this role, I get involved in understanding the strategic imperatives of New York and assessing how best EY can collaborate with you in achieving these imperatives.
That's fantastic, Marcus, and we really do appreciate the collaboration. So while EY is a global consulting firm with operations around the world, I understand that EY recently decided to double down on its footprint in the Big Apple. As a partner in the NYC office, can you tell us a bit about the new EY headquarters in New York City?
Oh, very happy to. We're really excited about this. So EY officially opened its new US headquarters at 1 Manhattan West on July the 19th. As I stated earlier, with more than 13,000 professionals calling the New York City area home, it is the most of any single city in our global organization. We have leased 14 floors encompassing 600,000 square feet at 1 Manhattan West. That's the 67-story, 2.1 million square foot office tower on Manhattan's west side, located just across the street from the Moynihan Train Hall, which EY also served as an infrastructure partner in developing. One Manhattan West is designed to be a collaborative workspace with lots of varied areas for teaming, brainstorming, and interacting. It is the largest of several EY offices across New York City, which also includes our offices at Union Square and Chelsea, where we host our Wave Space and Innovation Centers. We're really thrilled to bring back our professionals back to the city and collaborate in person once again.
That's fantastic, Marcus. Every successful professional or entrepreneur has his or her own unique journey. Can you tell us a bit about your personal and professional journey, how it led to your current role at EY?
Happy to, Ken. Like approximately 40% of New Yorkers, I was born in another country, Nigeria, but as they say, I got down to New York City as quickly as I could. I am one of 5 male siblings. I attended boarding school in England, just outside of London, and spent most of my summers in London and the United States. Upon graduating secondary school, I finished off my advanced education at the University of Texas. My mom was a banker, my father a financial consultant, and upon graduation, I followed in his footsteps, becoming a CPA, Certified Public Accountant. For over 3 decades, I provided professional services to companies as large as those included in the Fortune 10, and to those as small as 100 employees. Ken, I frankly believe my immigrant background, coupled with the diversity of my client base, positions me well to address the needs of our large EY clients, as well as have the sensitivity to understand the unique challenges many of our small businesses experience. That is why I'm very excited to have EY be part of NYC.
That's wonderful, Marcus. And I would echo that. I think with such a phenomenal background, you are uniquely positioned to help lead the charge here. So let's get into the details of this new program, Marcus, NYC Access Consulting. We root everything at NYC in the research, and we issued a landmark report entitled Advancing Black Entrepreneurship in New York City. And that report said that less than 40% of Black entrepreneurs reported that they had access to mentors and advisors. We're aware of the historic impact of the limited access to capital and bank loans. We're aware of the predatory credit policies that have occurred historically and the lack of banking relationships in the Black community. And we have learned that the pandemic has continued to disproportionately impact the health and the economic welfare of Black communities across the city. So that has made for time with advisors and resources to consult with professional advisors even more scarce and even more important. So through this partnership, a phenomenal partnership with EY, Mayor de Blasio, the New York City Department of Small Business Services, and our commissioner, John L. Doris, and Ernst & Young LLP announced this new consulting program to connect Black entrepreneurs with world-class technical consulting services and business resources. NYC Access Consulting is actually the 4th program that the city launched since 2020 to support Black-owned businesses and raise efforts to address the racial wealth gap. It's been programmed and tailored to the challenges of Black entrepreneurs. And we just want to talk about what this program is. And really, I want to ask you, Marcus, why are consulting services important when you are starting a business?
That's a great question, Ken. So, when companies just getting started, they tend to be laser focused on their core products and offerings and how to market them to potential clients and customers. But entrepreneurs and founders of small businesses and high growth startups alike may need some support in how businesses run, support from finance to HR to tech support. Consultants provide an outside-in perspective as well as technical know-how to fill in some of these gaps and help businesses thrive. Additionally, consultants are strategic thinkers who are unencumbered by the emotions or the history of the business. They can provide objective guidance drawn from best practices. Consultants often work extensively in a given sector or across sectors and can bring what I call a bird's eye perspective to problems, drawing on what they've seen elsewhere. In a nutshell, Ken, consultants can help growing businesses see the whole picture and provide an outside perspective to help companies realize more quickly as they grow.
Well, that is just such an important and valuable resource and service provided. I should mention that the EY NYC collaboration through NYC Access Consulting is going to provide up to 2,000 hours of one-on-one consulting for up to 500 business owners so that each of these businesses will receive up to 4 hours of pro bono consulting and guidance. Exactly what you're speaking to, Marcus, from EY. That is tremendously valuable. And so my next question is, how will program participants be connected with these EY consultants?
Ken, the application process of matching with an EY consultant is really quite simple. First, you go to the BNYC website, which is located at www.nyc.gov/BE-NYC Consulting. You create a profile, including your business and contact information. You will then be contacted by an SBS vendor for an intake call. Accepted businesses will be able to review EY consultant profiles from an online database and choose a consultant that matches their business needs. There is no minimum revenue required to participate. The only requirements for the consulting program are as follows. First, you must be a for-profit business. Businesses must currently be operating within the 5 boroughs of New York City, and you must be a small business according to the US Small Business Administration. Participants can enter information on SBA website, size standards tool to confirm.
It sounds very easy. It sounds like it's very accessible, and it sounds like there's tremendous support to get businesses onto the platform and access to this great service. So what types of issues, Marcus, can program participants expect to get help with through BNYC Access Consulting?
Yeah, participating businesses will receive up to 4 hours of pro bono consulting and guidance from EY on financial management, accessing capital, and understanding and engaging customers. This may also include customer acquisition, finding an affordable workspace, one-on-one mentorship, networking opportunities, and also accessing learning and development.
And these, from our conversations with Black entrepreneurs and business owners across the city, seem to be issues that are critical to the success of a business, particularly in these times as we emerge from the pandemic. Now, I just want to ask you again, Vargas, if you could just restate just how can people who are interested and who need these resources, these tremendous resources, get involved with BNYC Access Consulting?
If you're a Black entrepreneur in any of the 5 boroughs of New York City, please consider applying. We want to set you and your business up for success, and there is no specific revenue, as I already mentioned. The full application process, again, can be found on nyc.gov's website. Or for those that want to do it, you can also do an internet search on BE-NYC Access Consulting.
So I want to shift gears a little bit, and I want to just talk with you. I think it's important for our audience to hear the thinking of one of our private sector leaders on connecting the resources of the private sector with the needs of the community. And so I want to talk a little bit about the future of Black entrepreneurship and get your thoughts, Marcus. Why would you say, given your position, given the position of EY, why has EY invested in supporting Black business owners and entrepreneurs at this time?
Building businesses and supporting entrepreneurship is just part of EY's DNA. EY's own flagship program is Entrepreneur of the Year, which for 35 years has served as one of the preeminent competitive business awards for entrepreneurs and leaders of high growth companies. In the past year, we also launched Entrepreneurs Access Network, a business accelerator for Black and Latino entrepreneurs that works to address long-standing inequities in accessing capital and connections. We deeply understand that certain communities face different challenges than others. For example, we know that only 24% of Black-owned businesses are fully approved for loans or lines of credit, and just 2.4% of total US venture dollars raised in 2020 were for Black and Latino founders. These are 2 of the main reasons why we created our own programs and are participating with SBS in BNYC Consulting. We want to support Black business owners in addressing their unique obstacles and providing them with the resources they need to succeed. At EY, our mission has always been to build a better working world, and this means creating a world where everyone is empowered to achieve their fullest potential, Ken.
Your work and the commitment of EY is obviously very strongly rooted in the research and in the numbers. And I can say, as well at BNYC, our report, as I mentioned, Advancing Black Entrepreneurship at NYC, named access to capital as the top concern of Black business owners at 43% of respondents. The next most important challenge, Marcus, was mentorship. and access to professional services. That was at 23%. So can you share your thoughts on the strategic value of this type of support, technical consulting services, and how it prepares business owners to address some of the other challenges they might face?
Happy to, Ken. As I mentioned earlier on, consulting involves bringing in not only new and diverse perspectives, but experienced ones as well. At EY, we are a highly specialized brainstorming partner. We want to help Black entrepreneurs across the city address their business obstacles so they can get back to doing the work they love, helping New York City's economy continue to grow. For businesses who do become part of the program, you'll be introduced professionals who are well-versed in specific areas relevant to your business needs and who will tailor solutions to your specific challenges. We will provide technical support, institutional knowledge, and mentorship, which we hope will eliminate some of the barriers Black business owners typically face on the road to success. This type of insight and help is invaluable to an entrepreneur beginning their journey because they may not know what to expect as they are starting out.
I could not agree more, and I could not express how excited I am that EY is partnering with the NYC to provide this level of what we refer to as relational capital, Marcus, because it is in many ways more significant than financial capital. That connectivity, the resource of experience and expertise that is brought to the table by EY. So Marcus, what is your vision for Black entrepreneurship and business ownership in a post-COVID world?
Ken, and keep me honest on the numbers here. I believe SBS conducted studies that showed that 20% of the city's population are Black, yet only 2% of the city's businesses are Black owned. Both EY and I have the same vision. We want to remove the barriers faced by historically underserved communities and close the disparity gap that currently exists. In a post-COVID world, Ken, I hope we will see an entire new cohort of Black-owned businesses thriving, not just in New York, but around the country as well. We know that if funding and networking barriers for Black entrepreneurs were equal to non-minority founders, all communities will benefit. And I and EY are committed to helping our city get to that point. We should all strive to move the percentage of Black-owned businesses up from the current 2%, closer to the representative 20%, Ken.
Couldn't agree more, Marcus. Critically important. And whether the numbers are cited as 2% of business owners or 3.5%, which we've seen in many of our figures, it is a remarkably paltry number relative to the overall percentage and the proportion of the population. And we really do appreciate the resource, the commitment that we have in our partners at EY to close that gap. So Marcus, you've addressed this question in many forms, but I think it really bringing it home to New York City. Why is it important to support Black-owned businesses here in the Big Apple?
Ken, addressing economic equity in New York City is paramount given the demographics of the city. As reflected in the city's survey, there is a direct disconnect between the identified business ownership and the demographic realities of our incredibly diverse population. Most people don't realize this, Ken, but New York is the second most economically influential city in the world, behind only London. And yet just a third of New York's 220,000 small businesses are minority owned. It really is heartbreaking to realize that Black communities and businesses were the hardest hit economically and personally by COVID. Further complicated matters, Ken. Black businesses were least prepared to weather the challenges of the pandemic due to decades of unfair practices blocking access to the resources and capital to help businesses become more resilient. Over recent months, only 12% of Black and Latinx businesses received the full Paycheck Protection Program amount they requested, as you stated earlier on. It's a business and economic reality that New York City will prosper and grow with an inclusive business environment, and we are all responsible for getting the city to that point. If we're not fostering that environment, we're hurting it, which is why we are playing an active role with the city's new programming.
I could talk with you all day about this, and I could feel the passion. But I just want to close by asking you, in addition to the wonderful things that you've shared with us today, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Yes, there is. In kind of closing, Ken, New York City is not only one of the most economically powerful cities in the world, it also has the biggest government of any US city. Public-private partnerships that bring the two together can transform the lives of the ordinary New Yorkers and increase equity. We are really thrilled and grateful to be partnering with SBS on this fantastic initiative. We know that by working together, we can address some of the racial inequity issues in our city and create opportunities for advancing Black entrepreneurship. And look forward to collaborating with you on that, Ken.
I could say the same, Marcus. We are super excited to be partnered with EY in this important work. So Marcus, as we've mentioned, EY has generously contributed 2,000 hours of pro bono consulting services. That is top flight consultants from some of the world's best consultants at no cost to New Yorkers. Now, each business will get about 4 hours of that time. Is 4 hours enough to solve all the problems that a business owner might deal with or face, particularly in these challenging times as we are looking at the economic recovery of New York City?
It's a great question, Ken, and blunt answer, 4 hours is not going to solve the world's problems. It just isn't. I do think the 4 hours, though, are the first step on what I consider a journey in entrepreneurship. The volunteers and the mentors that the businesses will be engaging with are people that have varied from 10 years to, I know of a personal partner that has 38 years of experience that they will tap into. So they'll have a huge access to folks that know how business runs. However, Ken, it is important to realize that the journey of entrepreneurship is a long one, and this is just the first step. I think in addition to enrolling in the program, participants will have access, as we talked about, to the Entrepreneurs Access Network. That network will stay on even after the 4 hours of mentorship concludes. They can tap in there to understand what is leading edge in what businesses are dealing with, how can they be more efficient in accessing capital, and what do new businesses need to consider and deal with on the entrepreneurial journey. So back to your question, 4 hours is really a start, Ken. It is not a conclusion of the journey by any means.
I think you've said it so well. This is a journey. It is not a quick fix, and building the relationships and connecting to tremendous resources, not just on the Entrepreneurs Access Network or through the 4 hours of consulting, but the connections to those individuals who are providing those services can really be a game changer for the businesses that benefit from BNYC Access Consulting. Thank you for clarifying that. I think that's a point that a number of people are looking at and saying, I don't know, is this for real? Can you answer that question? Is this for real, Marcus? This service, this partnership?
Without a doubt, it is for real. Those that know me know that I focus incredibly hard on accountability and delivering on my commitments. I am personally committed to this program. EY is committed to this program. This is for real. And I assure you that those that enroll in the program will leave better positioned for success. And we look forward to being part of their success story, frankly, Ken.
That is awesome. And we do as well at BNYC. And so Marcus, I just want to say thank you so much for your leadership. Thank you for your commitment and really for living out your values. Just hearing a little bit about your personal journey, your professional success, it is clear that there's a level of commitment to doing well, but doing right and doing good. And so I want to thank you. I want to thank all of our partners at EY for this tremendous partnership. And we're really excited to continue to work together on building up the success of New York City's Black entrepreneurial and business community through BNYC Access Consulting. Thank you so much, Marcus.
Hey, thank you, Ken. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. And it's really been wonderful speaking to all of you through this program. And we look forward to telling you more about the success of this program. And we encourage you in all that you do to take a look at all of the work that is happening in the city, and particularly to look at what we're doing at BNYC by going to our landing page, www.nyc.gov/BENYC. And please, if you or anyone you know is looking to get your business going with consulting services that will really change the trajectory of your success, please look into the BNYC Access Consulting Program in partnership with EY. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, everybody.